Let's do some supports. Starting with Linhart. My sleepy teenage son.
It's just... I was wondering why it seems as if no one values their own lives. Why do we fight until we die? Why do we kill without hesitation? I hate it. I don't like taking lives, or even the sight of blood. In the last battle, some of the soldiers under my command died for foolish reasons. Those soldiers could have pulled back. Instead, they kept fighting, and were overrun. Am I supposed to be satisfied with the victory alone, even at the cost of such life?
Oh, this is a bit heavier with that than what I expected.
Exactly. I don't see the point. Honor? That's a foolish reason to give your life. Glory? Even worse. Just the thought frightens me. I'm not suited for battle, Professor. I suppose that's the nature of the world, isn't it? Professor, you take the time to lead me and teach me like this every day. Could the reason be that you don't want me to die on the battlefield?
That is absolutely true.
That's a bold statement, Professor. But for whatever reason, I want to believe you. You really are a strange person, you know. Professor, I wish to ask something of you. I don't want to kill. I don't want blood on my hands. I just want to lie on my back and soak up the sun filtering down through the trees. And I want you to help me make that a reality.
You got it, Linhart. We'll create a future of peace for you. Hanneman.
Ah, Professor. Always a pleasure to see you. I wonder, might you have a moment to chat?
Sure, what do you want?
Come now, you have no need to be on guard. I'd never cause you harm. You're far too valuable a specimen, well, that is to say,
Hanneman.
too valuable a member of the Academy staff.
Hanneman.
The further my crest research progresses, the closer you come to learning the truth of your heritage. Is it not so? When I learned you bore the lost crest, the very crest of flames itself, I set about learning everything I could about your past. What was the origin of your bloodline? How have the events of your life been shaped by your lineage? I became somewhat obsessed, I must admit.
You investigated me?
Nothing so crass as an investigation. No, I researched. I spoke to mercenaries whom you've worked with in the past to learn about your life before the Academy. Of course, I also contacted Gerald and his mercenary friends. Your father does keep rather interesting company. I'm excited to share with you what I learned, but I do ask that you correct me if I am mistaken on any account. The story begins with Gerald serving as captain of the Knights of Seros.
All right, yeah, we know about that.
At the monastery, with whom Gerald was quite close. At first, it seemed obvious this mystery woman was your mother. Alas, that cannot be the case. The timing is all wrong. As it was told to me, the woman in question passed away shortly before Gerald left the monastery. Yet your birth occurred sometime later, while Gerald was taking work as a mercenary.
This is
This, of
all
course,
outdated
presumes
information.
your age is accurately reported. If you were born sooner, well, the story would be quite different, would it not?
Well, he always does like to keep his secrets.
Oh, I am aware. You two were certainly enigmatic, as far as mercenaries go. For example, Gerald never once spoke of his time serving as captain of the Knights. That's quite a secret to keep for all those years. In the end, Your old acquaintances had little definitive to say about either of you. However, they all agreed on one thing. Your father and yourself were a strong pair, warriors to be respected and feared. You in particular. In fact, many came to know you as the Ashen Demon. They say you would destroy your enemies without a hint of emotion on your face. The mercenaries I spoke to revered you as a living legend of sorts.
That's interesting.
So, that is what I learned. And I admit, it is barely more than I knew before. The next step in my research is to ask your blood for answers, and hope that it is more forthcoming than your past acquaintances.
Well, I guess we're just gonna leave it at that. We already know, thanks to Gerald letting his tongue slip, that we were born before before he left the monastery. And Manuela, how's it going after that last time?
Professor, a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, you praying?
I've never been very good at praying. I was here to confess my foolishness.
Ah, of
While
course.
I'm at it, may I confess something to you too?
Ah, go ahead.
I realize what a burden I've been. On you, I mean. After every breakup, I neglect my work, and I know how that affects you. I'm completely worthless as a woman. Can you imagine how that feels? Oh, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. I just know it. You think so too, don't you?
No, of course not, Manuela.
Really? So if I couldn't find anybody else, you'd marry me?
It's a bit of a
Don't
leap.
worry. I can tell by the look on your face you didn't mean it. What's wrong with me? It's not my looks. I'm still gorgeous. Or am I? Be honest. Do I look old? No, not possible. I'm the songstress who swept the Empire off its feet. Men professed their love for me hourly. It can't be my looks.
It's definitely not that.
I knew I was right. I'd be in real trouble if I weren't this beautiful. Oh no. If the problem isn't my looks, and they are not the problem, then it must be... what? My personality?
Maybe it's the... Maybe it's the drinking? I don't know.
A girl can tell a lie when she hears one. You think there's a problem, don't you?
It's probably the
I suppose
drinking.
I can be a bit unkempt. I do have a short temper, and I may be a little lazy, sometimes. But I've always heard fellas, you know, like a woman with a few flaws. Seems to me there are plenty of flawed girls who have landed themselves a good man. So maybe my trouble is I'm not imperfect enough. Do you think I could use a few more flaws?
Oh, only one option. No.
Are you saying I'm perfect as I am? Come now, you'll make me blush.
Oh, Manuela. Well, there's Eloise, but I'm not concerned about him. Hey, Edelgard and Hubert, what do you have to say to
We've
each
come
other?
Such a long way. After all, I was only 4 years old when we first met.
From your perfect memory, Lady Edelgard, I expect nothing short of the utmost precision. Do go on.
Please don't mock me with such frivolous praise. I can hardly recall that day.
Forgive me. I suppose I must have been 6 at the time. I have no recollection of it. My earliest memory of you is of when you were injured. I recall being scolded most sternly by my father. You are Lady Edelgard's servant, he said. You must protect her with your life.
I had no idea. But House Vestra has served House Fresfelg for generations. Given that, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised.
Indeed. After that, I made certain to accompany you wherever you went. That is, until the incident.
Ah, when my uncle, Lord Arundel, defected to the kingdom and took me with him.
The sensation of loss that overcame me on that day defies all description. It was as horrific as if I'd lost all my limbs. I left the city in a mad rush to rescue you. My father sent soldiers to capture me. I fought them off for 3 days, but they did finally manage it. Of course, I was only 10. I never would have reached Ferdiad.
I've never heard that story before, so there are things you've never told me.
It wasn't important.
That's beside the point. I wish to know these things. If there's anything else you're keeping from me, please tell me at once.
Respectfully, I decline.
Why? It's a simple order. I really must know.
Speaking of your orders, there was a task you gave me earlier which I have yet to carry out. Excuse me.
Wait just a moment. I just hope he's not hiding anything too worrisome.
Hubert's really good. I still really like Hubert.
Linhard, at least try to do some training. Use a staff, or a rod, or a broom, for all I care.
My apologies, but I cannot train right now. I have plans for later and don't wish to tire myself. Caspar invited me to train with him, you see.
You slept through the whole debate, didn't you? Fine, I'll summarize it for you.
Not the whole debate. I closed my eyes only after I knew what reading would cover the topic.
There you are. Don't tell me you were sneaking out to do some training.
Of course not. I was sneaking out to avoid you. How did you find me this time?
God,
A mere
Linhart.
coincidence. Why would you wish to hide from me?
Because you're an awful nuisance? Why do you pester me so?
To ensure that your talent is not wasted due to your lack of...
It's none of your business how I spend my time or how I use my talent. Have you assumed the role of my mother? You overplay the part. She was only half as overbearing.
What is the matter with you? As house leader, I'm trying to prevent you from causing trouble for yourself and our classmates.
Fine, I'll try harder. Really. I'm sure you see all this as my interfering with your duty as a leader. Have you considered how it feels for those of us who serve below you? You are a serious pain, you know.
How so?
You're like a mother who insists on accompanying her son to his own knighting ceremony.
That's taking it a bit far, don't you think?
No, I'd say that it's putting it lightly. All your interfering is greatly hindering my research.
I see. Very well. You've made your perspective perfectly clear.
Well, she seems to be taking that criticism well enough, I suppose.
Good morning!
Ah, yes.
Weather is nice today. So, it's, really nice weather we're having, isn't it?
Indeed. Did you want something?
I'm really sorry.
I can't accept your apology until I know what it's for.
Oh, good point. I'm sorry I said you were terrifying.
Is that all? I'm used to that. No apology necessary.
But you've been avoiding me since then, right? You even stopped doing your deathly grin.
I am merely trying not to frighten you. Is there something wrong with that?
It's not working. And yes, there is. You can't quit talking and laughing just to try to make me feel better. That's not really fair. I need to master my own fear.
Is that right?
Yes. Right.
Hubert, God.
Why?
You told me not to forego laughing, so I laughed as hard as I could. Is it helping to conquer your fear?
Yes. I mean, someday it might. Maybe. Ah, I'm not ready!
See, when Edelgard's not involved, Hubert is still really, really good. Get a little extra depth to him. Now let's get Edelgard involved in the conversation as a
I've been
subject.
thinking about our conversation the other day, and I've just got to know, do you really love Adie?
If it's one or the other, I suppose it would be closer to love than to hate. Why?
I knew it! That's why you work so hard for Adie. Oh, Hubie, I finally get you. You're just another servant suffering from unrequited love for their mistress.
You completely misunderstand. Unrequited love. Do I really look like the kind of drooling simpleton to have that kind of motivation?
I'd like to say yes, but I know you just argue. Fine, Hubie, tell me your situation.
My situation is simple. I am walking a path.
Oh, do go on.
Everyone has a path in life. Lady Edelgard has shown me mine. It is just beside her own. So we walk together side by side. We stride ever forward, yielding to nothing and to no one.
So, you're sharing the same dream?
Bluntly, yes. But it's more than just a shared dream. I have many feelings toward Lady Edelgard. Gratitude, respect, awe, empathy, trust, hope.
Okay. I was teasing you, but I gotta say I'm just a little bit jealous of you and Adie. That you're able to embrace these feelings and stride forward along the same path. You're lucky, Hubie. I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to experience anything so utterly operatic.
Why not?
Because I figure the best quality in a partner would be that they make me happy. And loving another is really about wanting to be loved. I'm pretty sure that's different from how things are with you and Adie.
Alright, Ferdinand and Petra, what are they up to now?
Taking care of some weapon maintenance, Petra? You seem completely absorbed.
Yes, taking care of the weapons has great importance.
I cannot argue with that. That weapon there, is it from Bridget?
No, it is a weapon of Dagda. But the people of Bridget used them often.
Fascinating. I have read about the weapons of Dagda, but this is my first time seeing one in person.
Lots of weapons and fighting techniques came from Dagda to Bridget.
Ah, so Dagda to the west had a big influence on the Bridget archipelago. I am fascinated by foreign fighting techniques. Would you consider teaching me sometime?
I will. But it is difficult to explain fighting with words. We can try sparring, maybe?
Yes, a practical demonstration. I would be quite grateful.
Let's have our beginning then.
Yeah, get his ass, Petra.
Perhaps we should stop there.
Oh? Do you think you have understanding of the fighting techniques from Dagda?
Yes, now that I have experienced it firsthand. I used to look down on foreign fighting styles, but I was clearly remiss. The footwork, the nimble way you shift your weight is extraordinary. I will have to remember those moves for the next time I am in battle. Clearly, you have honed your skills through practice. Your fist felt as sharp as a spear.
Bridget is stuck in between Dagda and Fodlan. It is of much importance to hone our fighting techniques. I am of the royal family, but I am a warrior before that. I must fight to live and to protect my home.
When the alliances of Bridget and Dagda encroached on the Empire, they were always driven back. Perhaps the Empire's victory was due to geographic advantage or divine intervention, rather than military superiority. Having met you, that is what I think. I cannot help but feel a little disgraced. I held foreign fighting styles in such low regard without ever seeing them for myself.
Oh,
When I
Ferdinand.
came to Fodlan, I felt disgraced for many things that I learned. But there is no disgrace in losing ignorance. We need to be learning and growing with each other, always.
Yes, by working together we can make progress. And both sides need to look ahead to the future.
Alright. Well, Linhardt. Ah, it's Bernadetta.
A little more crimson, maybe?
May I suggest vermilion instead?
Vermilion? I know, I see it. You don't have to say it. I've got no talent at all.
Oh, poor
I said
Bernie.
nothing about your talent. I simply suggested vermilion over crimson. Do you know vermilion? It's just a softer shade of crimson. I believe it would... Oh, forget it. This is your artistic vision and I am but a meddler. I am going to read my book and leave you to your art.
No, it's fine. Say what you want to say. It's good advice. I'll use vermilion. Thank you.
Well, I'd best be heading back.
Phew! Finally done! I think.
All finished?
Please, don't look at it!
Everything looks a bit faded, doesn't it? Ironically, crimson may have been a better choice after all. The sense of distance on the petals is a little strange. Perhaps you should pay closer attention to such details as you paint. A preliminary sketch would do wonders. Still, forget my pedantic comments. You really do have potential.
Oh no, Bernie.
Dada?
Idiot! Hopeless! Waste of charm! Just burn the whole thing, Bernie! Break your stupid brushes and never paint again!
Huh. Perhaps I should have kept my thoughts to myself.
I believe that marks the first time in Linhardt's life that he has ever had that thought. Alright. A little bit of flame.
Now then, where is that book on dance?
Hello, Flane. I'm curious if you could confirm some suspicions I have.
Hello, Linhardt. What is it?
I've recently been lost in study on the topic of Saint Setheline. You're familiar with her life, yes?
I know a little of her, as do many. But what does this have to do with me?
Interesting that you would ask that. Your question betrays your understanding of my inquiry.
I am quite certain that it does not, as a matter of fact.
I have interviewed several members of the Academy and the Monastery. All agree that you have trouble focusing on detail-oriented work. As I mentioned, I have been carefully researching Saint Setheline's history, and I found several intriguing anecdotes concerning her life. Granted, it is not stated explicitly in the texts, but it is easy enough to read between the lines and get to the underlying truth. The authors of several tomes, all written within 50 years of Saint Setheline's passing, imply she found it difficult to maintain focus on detail-oriented tasks.
Hmm.
Then, just this morning,
that's...
as I was studying statues of Saint Setheline, I came to realize how similar her visage is to your own. Interesting, no?
I do not
okay,
appreciate your
that's-
disrespectful approach to this topic.
No disrespect intended, I assure you. Saint Setheline is a major saint. I only mean to say that looking like her is an honor.
I did want to take a moment to say, I was going to say that having trouble focusing on detail-oriented tasks isn't much of a connection, but looking an awful lot like her, that's probably a little more significant. Anyway.
I actually meant that you are being disrespectful to Saint Setheline.
There was one other item.
If you must.
You are quite skilled in white magic, yes? My understanding is that you have a very high affinity for the art.
Yes, I do. I am confident in my abilities. I am glad of my abilities, for it is a way in which I am able to help others.
Indeed. Once more an echo of Saint Sethlene. I'm so curious as to why such similarities exist. Her crest? Perhaps hereditary traits then? Or is it possible I am allowing myself to see patterns where there are none?
I am very busy searching for a book. I will be going now.
Interesting. We're gonna have to learn more about that some other time. Anyway, let's have a chat with a couple of nerds.
Ah, Linhardt. Reading as studiously as ever, I see. Anything to do with crests?
Hello, Professor Hanneman. Actually, this book's about fishing.
I didn't realize you were interested in fishing. What an unexpected discovery. I had heard that you were only interested in crests, to the exclusion of all else. As it were, I had rather thought I could train you as my successor, should we get to know one another better.
I'm sorry to betray your expectations. Truth be told, I've been thinking of giving up on my crest research.
What? Whatever for? Don't tell me you believe fishing to be a more worthwhile pursuit.
No, it's nothing to do with fishing. I adore the subject of crests. But to study them, you have to consult the people who bear them, right? I just don't have the energy for that.
It is an unavoidable hardship, I admit, but the satisfaction of making a real breakthrough is second to none.
I'm sure the satisfaction of catching a fish is pretty great too.
Consider this, child. Luring fish from the depths pales in comparison to untangling the mysteries of a quest. Why? It all comes down to purpose. Purpose, I say.
Calm down. I get it. Really.
Evidently, you do not. You must have something to work toward in life. The ultimate goal of fishing is to eat the fish. The goal of solving the mysteries of crests is, well, you must find that for yourself. What do you hope to uncover once everything is finally explained? What motivates you to keep digging deeper?
I had never thought about it like that. Perhaps if I did have a goal, I might share your enthusiasm on the subject.
Wow. All Linhardt needed was the right teacher to tell him to have goals, I guess.
Hi.
Well, if it isn't Bernadetta, what brings you here?
Am I bothering you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'll come back another time.
Well, don't leave yet, you just got here. Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Yes. Do you remember that time in town?
In town? Oh, you mean when all those thieves showed up? Whew, that was rough. I heard a bunch of people got robbed.
No, not that. I mean the time I was carried off.
Some thieves tried to carry you off? Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Just tell me which way they went. I'm gonna...
That's not what I mean. Oh, just forget it.
Wait, don't go. What are you trying to ask me?
Will you really listen this time?
Of course. Sorry. You have my full attention.
Do you remember when you carried me to that spot with the really pretty view? Where is that place? I've been looking all over.
The place I took you with the view. Oh, right! Okay, first you go out of the monastery, and actually it's kind of tricky to explain. Come on, I'll just take you there again, but pay attention this time.
Huh? Wait! What are you... No! Not again! Stop! Put me down!
Poor Bernie. But you know what? I do like Caspar's energy. His spirit.
Caspar. That equipment is new. It is suiting. It suits you.
Oh, right. Thanks.
You get more strength each day. I do not want to be falling behind.
I'm impressed with how much stronger you've gotten too. More than I have.
No, Caspar, you are impressing to me. I want to be training with you.
Just hold on, Petra.
What is wrong?
It's your attitude. How can you act so casual around me? My father killed your father. You shouldn't be able to stand the sight of me. You actually hate me, right? That's fine. I can take it. I completely understand. Just be honest. Give it to me straight. If our roles were reversed, I don't think I'd be able to forgive you. I don't understand how you could just...
You are not the one who did the killing, Caspar. Our parents had conflict, but we are not them. I have no worry about it. You should not either.
I don't need to worry? Impossible! I don't think I'll ever be...
You must. If not, the conflict will keep carrying on. If children cannot forgive, it will not ever have an ending. Is that what you are wanting?
Well, of course not.
Please, give it some thinking. I will be leaving now.
Oh, poor Caspar. Weighted down by all that guilt over something he didn't even do. Ah, right.
Hunting? Really? There's no way I can do this. Goddess, why couldn't I have stayed in today?
Bernadetta, is this a trouble you are having? I heard that the duty to hunt is yours today.
The duties all got assigned while I was holed up in my room.
Do not be worrying. I can show you the way to hunt well.
Oh, okay then.
When you see a beast, you are thinking of it as an enemy. That is how prey thinks. You must think of the beasts as food. That is how the hunter thinks.
So it's not an enemy, it's food. But, how is it food when it's still alive?
You pick the vegetables from the field. Those have life too. It is the same. You take a blade in your hand and take the lives of the vegetables. You cut their stalks and harvest without mercy. They do not scream, but you are still their killer.
Killer?
Fruit ripens and falls to the ground. The seeds sprout and a new life is born. That is life's cycle. It has cruelty, yes, but you must end life to eat. You must be killing to be living.
Maybe, but I don't know if I want to be some kind of vegetable murderer.
It is the same for rabbits, deer, pheasants. The only difference being that they cannot cry out. You must do what you must do to be living in this world. It is your task.
A task. Yes, just a task. A completely mindless task.
Feel it. There, in the grass. Prey is moving, just like a vegetable in the wind. Give it an arrow, just like you would give a vegetable a blade. It is just your task.
Right. That makes sense. It's just like cutting a stem.
You are now a hunter. You have learned how to hunt.
I am?
It's just that easy.
Oh, good! What a relief.
You have understanding now, I can tell.
Great! Leave it to me. I'll hunt down my prey just like their vegetables.
I have belief in you.
Aw, thanks, Petra. I can do this. Make way for Huntmaster Bernie!
Have luck, Bernie.
Ow! What? No! Stay back! I'm sorry, Mr. Rabbit, I didn't mean it! Why are you the one chasing me? Ow!
Oh, poor Bernie. It's a shame that the support conversations don't get any higher than that. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, Here's an obvious one.
Manuela, isn't it a bit rude to sigh at someone the moment you see them enter the room?
Hanneman, isn't it a bit rude to tell others how to behave? Besides, I could be sighing about any number of things more interesting than you.
Goodness, you're unusually irritable today. Don't you imagine your attitude a bit excessive? You snap at every little thing, your ill mood on display for one and all. It saddens me to see such behavior from one who should be setting a good example for the younger generation.
Well, listen to the noble lecturing a lowly commoner to be on her best behavior. Oh, wait, I meant to say the former noble.
I fail to understand how my birth is relevant to the topic at hand. I was merely trying to say that as a fellow adult...
You're not done lecturing yet? Leave me alone and go pester someone else. Maybe leave everyone alone and go focus on your precious crest research.
I don't know what to say to you, Manuel. I was only speaking out of honest concern.
Oh, was that a sigh I heard? Isn't it a bit rude to sigh at someone just because...
Don't be so childish. You are so sensitive to ill will from others, yet you let your own emotions run wild. Why is it that you cannot keep a handle on yourself?
Keep
Man.
a handle on? Well, I've never. What makes you think you're so much better? Just because you keep your emotions bottled up behind your stupid stony face, well, it doesn't mean everyone else has to do the same. Stop telling everyone how to behave, Hanneman. It will make you and the rest of us much happier.
I will not stand for this insolence. It is high time someone taught you.
Go on! If you think you can change me, I'd like to see you try. Ha! Thought so. You wouldn't dare.
Absolutely insufferable.
They're better friends now. I love video games.